Hey witches, welcome back to the channel once again. This is Hectarius, Witch of the Realms. For this one, I wanted to go a little bit more into detail on something that I had briefly mentioned in a video that I did. The video, How to Read Your Candle Spells. In that video, I mentioned that I personally do this, and you all can do this too if you don't already. Check on your spell work. After the fact, after you've cast a spell work, you can psychically connect with the energy of your spell work and pick up information about it that you can utilize in whatever way you will. I got a comment about that, so I'm just gonna go ahead and read the comment from you. This is from Berkshire Witch. This video is so detailed, I love it. The side note about tuning into spells was interesting. It's something that I've actively tried to avoid because I considered it to be calling the energy back to me and interfering with the work, to think about it afterwards. But maybe that just applies to obsessing over working, and casually tuning in wouldn't be a big deal. So I replied to that saying, like, I will definitely go into more detail about this, because yes, there's a difference between those two different things. So first of all, let's address the whole thing of not thinking about your spells after you cast it. The reason why we say that and why we practice that as witches is because what we're actually trying to do is avoid negative thoughts. We're trying to avoid negative thought patterns when it comes to addressing our spells. Like Berkshire Witch said, maybe that applies to just obsessing over the working. That is correct. You do not want to obsess over a spell work after you cast it. So the whole point when you do a spell work is you are manifesting it in that moment. So then to think about it afterwards of, you know, when is this going to manifest? Did I put enough energy into it? Any type of doubts even, is this going to work? Thoughts like that are the ones that you want to avoid because they negate the whole point of doing the spell work in the first place, which is that you're manifesting it in that moment. So if you're manifesting a spell in the moment that you're doing a spell, and then afterwards you're thinking, you know, did that work? Then you're putting an opposing force to the fact that you already manifested the result. You get what I'm saying? So you definitely don't want to do that. That's what we're talking about when we say don't think about a spell work after the fact. Okay, it's actually fine to think about a spell work after the fact if your thoughts are positive. If you think of a spell and you're like, oh yeah, I did the spell and it's already manifested, it's already doing its thing. If you think about a spell like that, there's no problem, and it's fine to do that. If you think about a spell after the fact and you're like, you know, damn, that was a powerful working, like I can't wait to see how this manifests, I can't wait to see the results. If you think about a spell like that after the fact, it's actually perfectly fine. You can send, in fact, more positive energy towards it by doing that, and that's perfectly fine. So that's what I wanted to address here. When we're actually saying don't think about a spell after the fact, we're saying that because we want to avoid negative thought patterns that happen with people when it comes to thinking about your spells after the fact. It's not necessarily that thinking about it after the fact in and of itself is bad. It's that the way in which we tend to think of spells after the fact, in these negative ways, in these doubtful ways, in these questioning ways, you want to keep that shut off. However, like I said, you can think about your spells after the fact, but you mainly want to send more positive energy towards it. You want to say, you know, that was a powerful ritual. I cannot wait to see the results. That's what you would want to be thinking if you're thinking about a spell after the fact. Nothing negative, nothing questioning, nothing doubtful. Okay, so first of all, wanted to address that. Now, when it comes to psychically tuning into spells after the fact, this is, once again, it's different. Because when you are in a psychic mindset, you're not using your logical mind. You're not using that sort of analytical mind that has the tendency to become negative when you're thinking about spells normally. When you're doing anything psychically, and this pertains to anything psychically, you want to shut your analytical, logical mind off. You want to shut it down. You want to shut it up when you're doing psychic work. That's how you get into the receptive state, to receive information without questioning it, without saying, oh, am I just making this up? That's your logical mind questioning the psychic information that you're receiving. You do not want that interfering. And so that's, once again, that's why we say when you're doing psychic work to shut your logical mind down. What we really mean by that, once again, is we want you to shut down your doubts, your questioning, okay? All of that negative aspect of the logical part of the mind, that's actually what we're saying we want you to shut down. In fact, it's good to have some sense of logic and analysis when you're doing psychic work. However, you don't want to use it in the wrong way. Like I'm saying, you want to use it in the right way. You want to use it in a positive way. Not to question yourself, not to doubt yourself, not to question what you're receiving, but you want to use it more in an inquisitive way to help suss out more information. So if you're getting a psychic impression and you're feeling there's an energy of sadness coming through with this, the only way you want to use your logical mind is to say, where is this sadness coming from? What else can I glean from this information? There's a right use of your logic and a wrong use of it, okay? And that's what I'm trying to, explain here. So we have to be careful when we are, learning about magic and listening to what other people say about magic, because you might misunderstand it and they might not explain it well enough. And I'm even guilty of this myself, because when you are someone that's practicing for so long, it becomes almost like it's just your nature to do certain things in a certain way. So explaining things to a beginner or someone that doesn't fully grasp things how you do, or in the way that you do, there could be some divides there in explaining things, because we just don't think about it in that way anymore, if that makes sense. So this whole topic of not thinking about your spells after you do it and shutting down your logical mind when you're doing psychic work, there are nuances to that. It's not just something that's black and white. It's something that there is layers to, and that you want to make sure that you're filtering out certain things but allowing other parts to continue to exist and to function, right? So I feel like I needed to explain that, because I don't think I've ever really explained that before, and it needed to be said. So when we're talking about psychically tuning into your spell work after the fact, that's where the difference lies. That's what is going on there. You are not thinking about it in any sort of questioning sense or doubts. You're thinking about it in a way of psychically receiving information from it. So it's almost like you're not actually calling the energy of the spell back to you. You're more observing the energy psychically, right? You're observing it with your psychic abilities, and you're allowing information to come to you, not energy, but information. So you're an observer of the spell work that you've cast. That's what I mean when I say tuning into your spells and, seeing what you sense from it. And that's how I do it. I'm observing it without any sort of expectation or any sort of, once again, like negative logical energy. I'm just in a receptive psychic state, and I'm observing my spell work, and I allow information to come to me, and it feels like a current of energy. And you can tell if there is something blocking it. You can tell if there's something in the way. You can tell if there's something opposing it. Or you can tell if it's, going faster than it was before. You can tell if it's just going calmly, smoothly. You can feel the differences in that current of energy when you're in a psychic receptive state. And so that's what I do. That's how I do it. And once again, with that, then you will ask yourself, why does it feel this way? And that's how you start to get more information about the spell work. So, for example, if I'm feeling a past spell work that I cast, and I'm tapping into it, and I'm psychically reaching out to connect with it, and I feel that there is a blockage, I won't immediately think, oh, this spell work is a failure. Keep that logical mindset, the negative aspect away. All you want to do is ask yourself, what's blocking it? Do I feel any further information about what is blocking it? And allow more information to come to you through that psychic ability, through questioning it in that way. That's basically my process. That's what I would do. That's how I do it. Just wanted to explain that to you all, because I think that this is a very important thing that you should be utilizing in your spell works. And I mainly utilize this when I'm doing spell work for clients. That's how I utilize this mostly, is when I'm doing spell work for a client. I will check in on their spell work from time to time psychically. With that said, that's mainly all I really wanted to come on and say with this. If you have any questions about this, of course, let me know. If you have any further input, like if you already do this or whatever, If you have anything to add to the video, leave that in the comments down below. People read it, and it would be great to share the information. You know, tune into your spell works. Just try it sometimes and see the information that you can glean. This can also even help you to determine how close your spell work is to manifesting. You can tell how close it is to reaching its end result, reaching its manifestation point when you connect with it as well with this. So yeah, another little tidbit I'll throw in there. But yeah, that's going to be all for this video. Hopefully this was interesting. Hopefully it gave you something to enhance your practice. And I hope that you have great results with trying it out and utilizing it going forward. Until next time, as always, Hail Hecate, hail to the witches, and blessed be.